Graham.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, and I appreciate you having this hearing. And the President urged the Congress to vote on matters like this, and I couldn't agree more. I think we should take legislation like this up and get on record and make our respective cases. And there's no doubt that Senator Feinstein has longly held views on this and very sincere. And to the victims of all these shootings, I don't know what to say other than I'm sorry, and we'll have a discussion about this topic in light of the world as it is rather than the world we'd like it to be. How many crimes are committed with rifles in terms of homicide in the United States? What percentage of all homicides are committed by rifles? Either one of you know?
Senator, I know that it is a small fraction of the total. In
2011, it was 2.5% of U.S. homicides were committed by a rifle of any type. Twice as many people were killed with bare hands. Now, how many prosecutions have you taken upon yourself, or how many prosecutions have you taken up for failing a background check since you've been U.S. Attorney?
Senator, off the top of my head, I'm not aware of any that we have done in the District of Colorado.
Well, what I want to do is put into the record the federal background check form. It says up top you're subject to prosecution if you provide false information. How many cases have you referred to state prosecutions?
On that particular point,
for failing a background check.
Senator, I don't have a specific number on that, but if I may, I do think it's important to recognize where our focus is. Our focus is on prosecuting criminals.
Clearly your focus is not on prosecuting people who fail background checks. Would you agree with that?
Our focus is on...
If you haven't done any, how could you not disagree with that?
I don't disagree with it, Senator.
Okay.
Our focus is on...
And the point is, if we're going to expand background checks, it looks to me like we ought to start enforcing the law that's on the books, because when almost 80,000 people fail a background check and 44 people are prosecuted, what kind of deterrent is that? I mean, the law obviously is not seeing that as important. If it's such an important issue, why aren't we prosecuting people who fail a background check? And there are 15 questions there. They're not hard to understand if you're filling out the form. So I'm a bit frustrated that we say one thing, how important it is, but in the real world, we absolutely do nothing to enforce the laws on the books. Now, let's talk...
just for the record, from my point of view, Senator, the purpose of the background check...
How many cases have you made? How many cases...
You know what? It doesn't matter. It's a paper thing.
Well,
I want to stop 76... I want to finish the answer.
Well, no,
I want to stop 76,000 people from buying guns illegally. That's what a background check does. If you think we're going to do paperwork prosecutions, you're wrong.
How many...
All right.
How many cases
Senator, if you would withhold just for a moment.
Yeah.
Please.
That's fine.
No expressions one way or another, and let's keep this civil. Senator Graham and I just got recognized for civility, so I know he'll keep it civil.
But being civil and being firm in your convictions are not inconsistent, are they? I admire what you do. I think every cop deserves everything that comes their way and then some, because it's a dangerous job. Has your budget gone down in the last year?
It has been level funded by the city at great expense with great difficulty.
In the next decade, do you expect more or less money given the budget situation?
Probably less.
Yeah, I think that's just a reality. So I want Americans to know that what this police chief is facing, almost every other police chief is facing, less money, so you may have to defend yourself. But back to the question, how many cases have you made for somebody violating a background check?
We don't make those cases, Senator.
All right.
We have priorities. We make gun cases. We make 2,000 gun cases a year, Senator. That's our priority. We're not in a paper chase.
How many cases?
We're trying to prevent the wrong people buying guns.
Well,
that's why we do background checks. If you think I'm going to do a paper chase, then you think I'm going to misuse my resources.
I'm just trying to ask you a question about how the law works today. He's made no cases. You've made no cases because you say it's really not within your bailiwick. How many cases have you had turned over from the U.S. attorney to prosecute at the state level that you know of?
We all know the answer to these questions, Senators. They're self-answering. We don't chase paper, we chase armed criminals.
Well, I guess the point is, if we don't want the wrong people to own guns, which we all agree, then the one way to do that is to take the system that's supposed to distinguish between the person who should and shouldn't and enforce it. I own an AR-15. I passed the background check. Isn't it really about who has the gun, sometimes more than the gun itself? And I guess the point I'm trying to make, if there are 4 million AR-15s in this country owned by people like me, I think the argument would be that it is in common use. And you may not understand why I want to own an AR-15, and I may not understand what movies you want to watch, but we're talking about trying to solve a problem that has as its central core that the people who are committing these crimes should never have any gun or one bullet. That's what we all agree on. And the best way to prevent crazy people, mentally unstable people from getting a weapon is to identify them somehow before they murder somebody to steal it or they try to buy one. Now, I'll end on this note. In South Carolina, I've got parents from Ashley Hall here, that a lady went into Ashley Hall with a .22 automatic pistol, semi-automatic pistol, and thank God the gun didn't function, who passed a background check at the federal level, who was adjudicated not guilty by reason of insanity of trying to kill the President of the United States. So before I am told by my colleagues on the other side and the two witnesses we need to change our laws, I would argue that the law is fundamentally broken when almost no one gets prosecuted. And if you can pass a background check, having been adjudicated mentally insane by a federal court, I think the place we should start is fixing the laws we have rather than expanding them and creating a false sense of security. Thank you.